Let's go ahead and let these guys out here. It's time for the release of the chickens. All right, babies. Get out there and go forage. These guys are heading out to free range. Right. Let's see. These guys have been working on the cabbage pretty good. I just got this all rigged up today. Got some of my old rough cut lumber. Oh, what's up, CE? How you doing? I was just showing off this head of cabbage. These chickens have been hammering all day. One of our old girls is coming out. She's kind of slow to move. Come on, girl. She's getting out there. Oh man, just let the chickens loose. Trying to get these guys going. Oh yeah, there goes. They're running around. They're doing their thing, that's for sure. Go in here and check on the goats. It's kind of the midday heat here. And getting this going. Let's go check on our goats here. I got to remember how to make people moderators from some of my other lives that I've done in the past. So just hang on a second here. At least pin your message there. Yeah, these guys are out here playing around. They're doing their thing. Hopefully my internet connection's fairly stable. We don't have the greatest internet and cell service, so I'm just on my standard data. But got Ozzy and Sharon over here, and Arabelle. Hi, Arabelle. What you up to, huh, girl? He's just hanging out, munching in the shade. Huh. Typical tail flicker. Hi, Arabelle. You're a good girl. Yeah, they're out here enjoying their hay, having a good old time. Sharon, you're a good girl too. Huh? Ozzy. That's Oz. He's a big baby. He's a good boy. Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Serbia, yeah. Man, we're getting our worldwide audience here. Kirby, what's going on, man? I'm just out here showing off the goats. I just let the chickens out. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's probably one of the hashtags. You probably watched something there in the past, and it just popped up, and, well, now you're here, so welcome. We got people from all over the place. Kirby, CE. Got our friend here from Serbia. I would attempt to pronounce your name, but I would probably end up butchering it. So, yeah. Hi, Sharon. We got this little guy here. We got Pepper. As soon as I come out, these guys are all on it. They're on the feeder there. I'm actually going to do my next full-length video on what we did for our feeders here, which was just take some of this hog panel. I got a whole truckload of it for $10. This guy was going to use it for concrete forms, and he ended up selling it, and so we just started repurposing it into a bunch of stuff. He gave us all this roofing too. It is all free, so I made some feeders here for the goats, and they're coming out here, and they absolutely love it. Hi, Meg. Hi, Meg. Nutmeg. She's out here too. She's hanging out. We're kind of getting into our midday heat here. It's going to get up to about 85 here, which isn't bad, with our humidity being about 15%. So they're all of our goats are doing pretty good. They're hanging out. They're doing their stuff, and getting into their minerals and all that. So they usually get pretty excited when we're out. This is one of our little bucklings here. That's Gomez. Yeah, we really try to repurpose. Obviously, the kids still use this slide, but these guys love the slide as long as they can nibble on it. She was nibbling on my shirt. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. She's nibbling on my shirt. But yeah, we try to repurpose as much as possible. And if you look around the farm, sometimes it can kind of look like, junk everywhere. But I think that's kind of the hallmark of a farmstead in a lot of ways, because I call it the bank account. You can always go back to it and do all the fun stuff. And you get an idea and you don't have to run down to the hardware store and do all that stuff. That's always good. I got Wednesday over here. She got milk this morning. Hi, Wednesday. And she's just hanging out. We got all the chickens out on their free range. So they're doing pretty good. They're just out here. We got a big grasshopper hatch that's been going off, and so you'll see these guys, they take off. They do all kinds of stuff, and so they'll all of a sudden they'll just all take off. Stacy, our rooster there, he kind of leads the pack there. He's kind of a jerk too, typical rooster, but he'll lead the pack, and he does all kinds of stuff. But Kirby, you were asking about this. So I don't know, my wife had this idea, and she's like, hey, let's cut out the sides of the trash can and put the hog panel in there. And we used, originally we used the goat and sheep fence, and we put it in there, but the goats would push so hard on it that they would actually dent it in. I have another one that I got to replace. So we took the hog panel, and I can't tell you how hard this stuff is to bend. It is tough stuff. This is the like 1/8 inch wire, and so it's great stuff. But formed it around in a circle, zip tied it together, and the goats, they can come up here and they just forage right out of it. We put weight in the bottom because they kept knocking it over. So when we bought the house, there was a whole bunch of these pavers, and we just dropped those in the bottom of it to hold it down, and they worked really good. Yeah, they'll jump on top of it too, the kids. So when they get going really hard, they will knock it over. But when we put the weight in the bottom of it, they stop knocking it over so much. And so it was one of those things. It's kind of a trial and error learn. And we were trying to get all the other stuff going there, and we came up with that. So yeah, it's worked out pretty well so far. Yeah, the weights are just these cinder blocks. They're just basically a concrete masonry unit. They're preformed to the factory, and they're nothing but solid concrete. Let's see. So our friend from Serbia is asking about land prices. So where we're at, a bare acre without any kind of infrastructure on it, that's no power, no well, no septic tank, is about $100,000 US. So I don't know what that converts into for euros, but it's about $100,000. And if you go further out from where we're at, you can get a lot more acreage, but you don't have all the trees like what we have here. So these are lodgepole pine, and our native species is ponderosa pine. But the lodge poles were planted here. They originally logged this entire area out back in the 1800s, and they replanted it with the lodge poles because the lodge poles grow quick. And one of the close cities to where we live, well, it's not really close, it's about 35 miles. They made a lot of like pine boxes and stuff like that, like shipping crates and containers and things of that nature back in the 1800s. And so lodgepole was very suitable, but the ponderosa pine's more of a construction lumber. But that's one reason why the land is really expensive, or more expensive than further out, like east of where we're at. East of where we're at is a very open, arid desert. Here we're in between three major rivers, and so that's why we're Three Rivers Farmstead. So we're a lot closer to shallower wells. Our well is 63 feet deep. The further east you go here, the well depths are like 800 feet, 900 feet, and a lot of it's all central pivot irrigation. So it can be kind of a hit and miss, because what you save on land is also what you get as far as what you have to pay for infrastructure. Yeah, I see that, CE. Further east you go from where we're at, the land is more in that price range, like $6,000 to $12,000 per acre. And if it's EFU, which is the exclusive farm use, it's even cheaper than that. But you can't live on it, and you have to have some kind of agriculture going on, which we would be able to get away with. But then we would still have to have a separate zoning. Oregon's really weird about that. So these are our quail. This is their summer habitat, so we leave them outside. These are all Coturnics. They're jumbos, so they lay the bigger eggs, and they're a lot of fun. They're just cute little birds. And you can see that they have like their little terrarium type habitat here. And so you can see we've put pallets in, chunks of wood, they hide out. And we repurposed this rabbit hutch to just kind of give them a place to tuck in. But we put them on the shady side of the shed too, so that they wouldn't have so much sun exposure, because these guys like to fly, and then they fly like crazy. And so we didn't want them, flying away. We could clip their wings, but we try to leave the animals alone as much as possible. So we really try to do the best we can with them and not mess with them too much. Hey, Colleen, thanks for joining. Good to see you here. All right, and then over here, we got our turkeys. We named them Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter, but I think we're just gonna have a Thanksgiving. We have one hen there, if it'll focus. We have our one hen, and we have our two toms, and we're gonna probably keep the bigger of the two toms for breeding our hen with. And they're a heritage breed. From what we understand, they're a royal palm. But you can tell that they're pretty good sized birds. They're slow growing, and that's we'll see kind of how they do with everything. But I got this IBC that we turned into their little house, and so at night I go tuck them in at night. We do have a lot of predators here, but fortunately we also have our livestock guardian dogs, and so it keeps the predators at bay. So I saw something there. Let's see, that's not expensive. Shame that it's not possible for my country residents to fly and just buy some land to live there. There's a lot of restrictions on that. But I do know that there's workarounds. We have a large Chinese firm out of Hong Kong. It's called Shanda Asset Management, and they own about 75,000 acres in our area. And they've bought up, and it's all bordering national forest land, and they don't have any access restrictions or anything else. They just simply bought the land for the purpose of purchasing it for future sales and development. But there's a lot of people that are adverse to it. We don't know what's going to happen with some of our BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management, if you're not familiar with the acronyms. But right around the corner from my house, there's about 540,000 acres of national forest land. That's where we take like Sharon and Ozzy to go train them on their hike. So when we're training them for packing. Ah, Sharon, you want to go bye-bye for a walk, huh? Yeah, she's a good girl. Yeah, it's a beautiful area. We had a lot of wildfire smoke blowing over, and luckily our wind shifted from the north, and it blew out. But because of our high elevation here, it really, we get a lot of smoke, and we're kind of wide open. We have mountains around us and a lot of cinder cones and stuff like that. But it's really kind of wide open. Colleen, we're in Lapine, so we're actually about 40 miles straight south of Sisters. So we're near Sisters. We can get there pretty quick. It's about a 50-minute drive, but we're not in Sisters. We're actually down in Lapine. So yeah, the wildfires. So there was one. Colleen mentioned Sisters, which is a small town north of us, and there was a 22,000 acre fire up there, and it moved up a creek called Whiteshoes Creek from a big lake called Lake Billy Chinook, and it was blowing a lot of smoke from the north down to us. We're south, and now there's another fire. It's called the Emigrant Fire, and it's on the actual other side. We're on the east side of the Cascade Mountains where we're at, and the west side is where the fire's burning, and the wind shifted out of the southwest, and it started blowing all the smoke and all the ash and everything else over to us. And it's like 60 miles away from us, but the wind was really strong, and it just threw all the smoke aloft and just showered us with ash, and really dropped our air quality quite a bit. So it was pretty bad. Let's see what Gomez is doing. Oh, Gomez is going to be feral. Gomez, come here, buddy. You going to be feral? Yeah. Shaking your head. Silly goat. Yeah, the Emigrant Fire was lightning strike, so dry lightning, of course. And we've had multiple fires over here that have been dry lightning. Um, but the one that was up in Sisters was human caused, and there was another one outside of Prineville down in Juniper Canyon that was human caused, and one of my coworkers, his house was actually in level 2 evacuation from that fire, and that fire spread real quick. But the guy that started it was using a weed torch in a ditch, and as you can see, everything is very dry here. It's extremely arid, so one spark, anything can go off. And a lot of people, they're like, well, why do you try to groom your land as much as possible? This had about 6 inches of pine needles out here. This is what we call our woodlot. And we cleaned it up before the start of fire season, and we try to keep as much of the pine needles and stuff picked up as possible. Of course, we got our limb pile there waiting for fall. We're going to chip all that stuff up and turn it into wood chips and reuse it here on the farm. We use it for mud control and stuff like that in the winter when we start getting the thaws in spring. Sharon, you're just wanting to be the attention goat, huh? Yeah, she's a good girl. Yeah, we're pretty fortunate we haven't had any localized fires that have been significant. So keep working on all the stuff and doing that. So yeah, I wanted to go live today and just test out. I don't know how the picture's looking on everybody else's side, if I'm coming in delayed or if it's kind of mixed up or anything like that. But this is kind of a test run, so to speak, on going live, because something I want to do is eventually get a Bluetooth camera and be able to control the farm activity from a Bluetooth. I got it on a selfie stick right now, so I'm just walking around. That way I can read and respond to everybody's comments. I typically respond to comments like this, but I do like how Kirby and Callie do their coop cams. And if the chickens weren't out free ranging, we'd probably set up, but I wanted them to get out and stretch their legs and go eat up some of these grasshoppers. Good. I'm glad. That's awesome, Kirby. I'm really happy we're not getting any lag, no choppiness. Nice clear picture. Get a good view of Mr. Pepper here. Huh, buddy? What'd you get in your face? Yeah, he's a good boy. Just enjoying his minerals. I didn't know if we were going to have more goat people or chicken people, but wanted to make sure we got the chickens out. That way they can go dust bath and everything else. No shortage of dust for these guys to bathe in. Our soil is basically volcanic sand here from Newberry. So the Newberry volcano is a huge shield volcano. It's still active. There's a company actually doing geothermal drilling, and they're trying to get into the geothermals. Up on top of the crater, there's a natural hot spring on the side of the lake. Stacy, you showing off? Call your girl, Stacy. You gonna call him? Let's see if he'll call on demand. They're just kind of doing his thing. There they go. Better catch up, little one. That's the one nice thing about living out here. You can hear how quiet it is. It's just absolutely silent. We get a little highway noise, and sometimes, somebody's got a truck with no exhaust. But for the most part, our goats, they got a pretty quiet place to live. I appreciate it, Kirby. I always try to pop in on your streams in the morning. I'm usually on the treadmill. I start running, and then I see Country Kirby is live, and so I get right over there. I'm like, man, I gotta go check it out. I knew a midday stream may or may not work out anyways, just because of the time, and it is Labor Day weekend, and people are out spending time with their families and camping and getting kind of the last hurrah before school, and the officials start to fall. So it's one of those things where, I figured I would chance it. I figured there'd be a few people drifting around. Show off that baby's here. Hi, Nutmeg. Are you going feral again? You going feral, girl? Yeah, it's nice to come out here, relax when it's peaceful and quiet. Come out here and visit with the goats. Come check on them. Not that they need to be checked on a whole bunch, but boy, they are fun. Hi, Mickey. Yeah. Absolutely, Kirby. Well, anybody I can stop in and support, that's what I want to do. Take care, Kirby. Have a good day, and I'll see you on your next one. I'll go over here and see Ozzy again. Decided to tuck in and sunbathe. There's Winona. My daughter came out and braided her little goatee, so she's feeling pretty fancy. She even has a matching purple hair tie. Come on, Oz. Hi, baby boy. Yeah, he's just hanging out over here. Huh. We're pretty happy with our alpines. I mean, we have Nigerian dwarves and alpines, but these guys are just so calm, and they're so gentle. They're great goats. And I know a lot of people like the smaller breeds of goats. They're cute. They're cute, and they always get a lot of attention. But these alpines, I mean, they get big. They produce a lot of milk, and like this guy, if we didn't use him for packing, unfortunately, somebody would use him for meat. And these guys have so much more to offer. I mean, nothing against meat goats, but I would not want to see this gentle beast here turn into somebody's freezer fodder. So we just couldn't say no to this guy because he's such a sweetheart with his sister Sharon. So they're just a match. They're a perfect match, huh, buddy? Yeah. We love all of our babies. They're good. Well, since the chickens are out, it's starting to heat up out here, and my wife called me, probably calling me to go fishing. My wife loves to fish. I'm going to probably end this live stream, but I'm glad the test worked out good, and I'm glad that all of you stopped in and decided to say hi. So I'll figure out a good time to come back on live, and we'll keep doing these live streams. I really like having that direct interaction with everybody. It's a lot of fun, and we really enjoy it. So CE, thanks for stopping in. You're awesome. I'm going to figure out getting you guys loaded up as moderators on the channel and all that stuff. So anyways, I'm going to kill it, and you guys have a good day.